The year is 2192 AL, and the valley of Sinet holds its breath. From the shadow of the mountain pass, Illantan Lumondear Rareshade emerges. He is the elder of Alepion, the great servant of the Moon Elves, the higher of Low Villa, and he comes armed and armored, a figure wrought in silver and pale steel, what catches the dim light of a cloud-veiled sky. The wind moves gently across the valley, whispering through banners and crests, carrying with it the hush of thousands who had gathered to witness history in the making. Moon Elf and Sun Elf alike stand in silence upon their opposing ridges, their armies drawn but still, their fates, for the moment, resting not in ranks but in two blades. The armor of Illantan the Brave is forged for war. It sits upon him like a second skin, immaculate but marked by previous battles. At his side hangs his long blade, adorned and feared, a weapon that had carved its name into the memory of these middle islands that Moon and Sun have fought so fiercely to control. And yet, it was not his steel that drew the eye, it was the stillness of him, the quiet. Illantan did not rush. He descended the slope with measured steps, each one deliberate, as though the world itself waited upon his pace. His long, dirty blonde hair stirred behind him, the single braid resting against his shoulder. His gaze does not wander to the armies, nor to the banners, nor even to the sky above. It remains fixed ahead, where his opponent waits for him. There, across the open stretch of the valley floor, stands highborn Elwind Evening, heir to Khan Fulas. Between them lay distance, but not much. Enough for breath, enough for thought, enough perhaps for doubt. But Illantan carries none. He is not a creature of hesitation. He was forged in challenge, sharpened by defiance, and driven by a need not merely to stand, but to prove. Behind him, the crescents of Alepion watch. Before him, the highborn waits. In that quiet, suspended moment between history and blood, Illantan comes to a stop, his hand resting lightly upon the hilt of his long blade, his posture calm. The valley did not stir, the world did not move. Then, at last, the duel began. Hey, do you like high fantasy? I am giving away the first 5 books of my fantasy short story series, The Sun, Moon, Sand, and Star. To get your 5 free books, click the link below this video. Get my novel, Upon the Sands, Book 1 of a Symphony of Shadow and Darkness. And in the comment section, demand your 5 free books, and as rudely as possible. And I will send them to you as soon as possible. Now, let's get back to the lore. It is the second moon, an age of expansion amid the Moon Elf realm of Alepion and Khan Fulas, the eternal land of the Sun Elves. Both nations fight for dominion over the Middle Islands. Battles have been fought, and blood has spilled, and all the while, the sun taunts the moon. According to reports, Elder Illantan Lumondear Rareshade suffered these continuously, taunts that were delivered through letters by the young highborn Elwind of Tree Evening. Speculation from Blademaster Lardian the Unfailing, who served during the reign of Illantan's great daughter, claims that Elwind referred to Illantan as Lithan Aldara Ro Ashen Thin, translating to young ruler of folly or foolish young ruler. The phrase was a clear insult, meant to brand Illantan as inexperienced, reckless, and easily provoked. Whether these claims are true or not, it is widely accepted that Illantan was indeed provoked, and thus he challenged Elwind to single combat in the valley of Sinet, with both their armies watching from opposing sides of the mountains. A fight that would have happened sooner, if not for Atheon the Mighty's constant intervention. Would that Atheon had prevented Illantan from fighting then, as he had so many times before? Would that the Mighty had prevailed at the Valley of Grief? By all accounts, the duel between these two titans was intense and prolonged. Debate has long surrounded Illantan's performance, with loyalists to the Rareshade legacy insisting that he matched the Highborn, with extraordinary skill, making him no easy opponent. Reports, however, drawn from examination of Illantan's body, reveal multiple precise cuts placed at the weak points of his armor, suggesting Elwyn's exceptional mastery of bladery. Notably, Illantan's armor bore no dents, reinforcing the idea that Elwyn fought with patience and precision rather than brute force. This lends credibility to descriptions of the duel as being long and calculated. The Highborn clearly bided his time, never wasting energy on a purposeless swing. He waited, circled the brave, ever watchful for the moment that would grant him victory. Following the sun and moon alliance of the fourth moon, Highborn Elwyn, evening himself, reflected on the battle. It was a long time ago. I remember the cheers of my warriors, though more vividly do I recall the war cry of that mighty blade master of yours. I am relieved no such warrior has risen again to challenge my people. As for the elder I killed, we were of similar age then, if I remember correctly. He was incredibly tall, and thus was my first great triumph. He was confident, yet in a short time while we danced, I realized the fight would become mine. All I needed was patience, and his mistakes would come. I remember thinking how much I disliked him. After Illantan fell, Atheon the Mighty rushed into the valley to retrieve his body. This movement caused confusion among the Crescent army, who believed Atheon was charging the Sun Elves in vengeance. Reports suggest that Atheon feared Elwyn intended to claim Illantan's body as a trophy, prompting his advance. When the Moon Elves surged forward, the Sun Elves responded in kind. To protect the heir of Khan Fulas, who stood alone and unguarded in the valley, those haughty immortals rushed in like the waves of the sea, and they crashed into the moon furiously. Though not recorded at the time, Elwyn later claimed that he was struck by an arrow from the Mighty's bodyguard. This remark serves as the only evidence that Atheon Redleaf was accompanied by a Blade Watcher. Official accounts state that Elwyn retreated upon seeing the Moon Elf army descend. However, given his claim of injury, it is equally plausible that he withdrew out of necessity. Still, popular belief persists, regardless of accuracy, that Elwyn the Highborn fled from Atheon. Historians would later name the clash the Battle of Blood and Vengeance. Misinterpretation drove both sides into a full engagement. The Crescents, believing Atheon sought revenge, followed his charge without hesitation. The result was devastating. Blood stained the valley. Death reigned that day. The losses were so severe that Atheon was forced to abandon the campaign and return to Alepion. Illantan's body was returned home to the capital of Lovilla, where preparations for his funeral had already been made. The ceremony would later be remembered as the Sorrow of Eldrin. The eulogy delivered by the crowned son of Alepion Eldrin Lumondear Rareshade is widely regarded as one of the most moving ever spoken for a great servant. The son of Alepion wept. He struggled to form words. Never before had a funeral been met with such grief. It is commonly believed that words spoken by Blademaster Atheon the Mighty inspired the famed poem by Rendelay Silvergrace. Life of the brave. I am, I was, but now I'm gone. Death, never a thought, a word I had not once sought. The realm bore me, it exalted me, it raised me high. For what, if now in death I lie? Illantan's body was burned upon the shores of Sunlight Bay. The site would later become known as Illantan's Watch, a tower built by his son upon becoming elder. Over time, small folk carved blessings into its stone, earning it the name, the Carved Tower. Illantan's contributions to the realm of Alepion remain immense. The Crescents, the Alepion Temple, and the great cities of Hill Mallow and Higher Heart stand as enduring symbols of his vision for a strong and greater Moon Elf country. His development of roads and warrior culture marked the beginning of a new age. Historian Aradin Deadcry writes, Thus the brave remains a hero leader of our time, one who lives and is remembered every time any of us gaze upon his great services to this great nation of ours. His legend is further enriched by tales of personal heroism, including the rescue of Illantan Rareshade, daughter of Alepion, a feat that secured his place in small folk lore. Aside from his great daughter Renala the Loved, no heir has been more celebrated among the people. While some compare him to Taran the Golden of the Fifth Moon, most historians reject such comparisons. Arch-Mindfinder Absight and Singwaters writes, "Two great warriors, the Golden and the Brave, both brought pride to the realm, yet they cannot be compared, only respected in their own right, for elves of their own time." Historian Renala Softheart concludes, "The Rareshades took after one another. A father passed down ambition and vision to his son. In Illantan, Elder Paradin's genius was made complete." Illantan remains a dominant figure in small folk tales, including The Dark Reign by Valsar Redbury and The Hire of Raven by Illyrian Dawnhill. These works help shape the romanticized image of Illantan as the embodiment of nobility and courage, perhaps beyond what history supports. In The Lady Beauty by Saloon Winterborn, Illantan is frequently invoked when comparing Renala's beauty and legend. The work even claims that Blademaster Lardian Truestone would have lost to Illantan in single combat, an assertion widely criticized by historians as false and perverse. Like his father, Illantan was pale. Unlike Paradin, his height is frequently emphasized. Historian Vagtor Goldensky estimates him at being 7 feet tall. Drawing from Sun Elf accounts of the son of the father's exploits, Vagtor highlights a passage describing the defeat of a giant. "He struck down that swaggering giant before the throngs, yet barely did our son triumph. Barely had the young highborn taken the day." Vagtor interprets this as evidence of Illantan's immense stature, even describing him as lanky. His hair is described as dirty, likely a sandy or brown blonde shade, and worn long. He is credited with introducing the one-braid style, a single braid along one side of the head with the rest left loose. Though later literature portrays him as beautiful, many historians dispute this. Given his known engagement with sorcery, often believed to distort physical appearance, it is widely thought that Illantan was not conventionally attractive, particularly later in life. Perhaps he amazed his people by their standards or by his deeds alone, yet in our time he would likely be called disfigured. In character, Illantan shared his father's ability to inspire and command, as well as his relentless ambition. However, where Paradin was distant, Illantan's devotion to his family was far stronger. He is often described as private, but also vain and prideful, uncomfortable with the idea that his accomplishments were attributed to magic rather than personal ability. Vagtor portrays him as verbose, intensely confident, and artistically gifted, with notable skill in music, bladery, and archery. Accounts frequently describe him displaying his talents in the Carnea and training yards. Proud of his lineage, Illantan sought to elevate the prestige of his tree. Vagtor argues that this desire was the core of his ambition, a view supported by many historians who point to his relentless development of Moon Elf society. His cities, Hillmallow and Higher Heart, stand as monuments to this ambition. Grand and elaborate, they reflect not only his ambition, but his unmistakable taste for grandeur. In the words of Illyrian Many Dawns, Illantan the brave, the devoted, the strong, his like will never come again. If you have made it this far, don't forget to give this video a like, and make sure you hit the subscribe button for more Alepion history videos. And don't forget to jump on my Sun, Moon, Sand and Star giveaway to get 5 free books. Head to the description below, click the link, get upon the sands, and in the comment section, demand your 5 free books. See you in the next one.